Good morning, everyone. I would like to remind our participants that the virtual conference will start at exactly 10 in the morning today. And I would like you also to be reminded of the following rules to follow throughout the whole duration of this virtual training conference. One, we have again the opening of camera is recommended. Two, always mute your microphone. Three, use headphones or earphones. Four, find a seat or location that is comfortable and well lighted. Five, it is advised to wear business or smart casual attire. Finish the whole virtual conference and complete the evaluation form for you to get your certificate. Seven, always direct your concern through personally message or PM on our page or our email address so we can provide answer to your concern. Again, for the flow of our National Virtual Training Conference, our day one will be comprised of two sessions. We will have a topic on innovations in digital research methods from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and we will have a topic on digital transformation, the future of digital education from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. For our Saturday session, we will have a discussion on emergence of new innovations in teaching and learning process from 10 a.m. to 12 noon and innovating pedagogy and strategy in teaching in the new normal, the what's and how's of making innovation projects from 3 to 5 p.m. We are presently viewed live here in Zoom and in YouTube at the official channel of POMMI. Again, I am Mr. Jose Brian Di Casella, the Vice President of PICE I-21, your moderator and virtual host for today. Welcome to the National Virtual Training Conference on Digitalization of Education for the 21st Century Researchers and Educators. This National Virtual Training Conference is mainly sponsored by the Philippine Institute of 21st Century Educators Incorporated, or PICE I-21, and is in collaboration with 11 other professional organizations. So while waiting for other participants to appear, and while waiting for exactly 10 a.m., so we still have 2 minutes before we officially start, I think it would be ideal for our participants to tell us about the institution or institutions where you are affiliated with and to greet also your fellow participants here using your own language. So we are presently here in Iloilo, and with that, I would like to greet you maayong aga sa inyo tanan. So we will just wait for our participants to have the greetings to appear here in the chat function in Zoom. We have Sir Noel Binavides. Marhay na aga. Shout out from Sorsogon State University. So again, good morning, Sir Noel. We also have a great number of confirmed participants for this gathering, and we are still waiting for others to appear. So we have participants who came from state universities and colleges, from secondary or basic education, teaching elementary and secondary or high school. And we also have participants affiliated in other government institutions. Good morning, everyone, from Ma'am Imelda Corpus and from Sir Ramil Villarosa. Good morning po. We also have Ma'am Dane or Jane Rhea B. Banaay, maayong buntag sa tanan, gikan sa University of Southern Mindanao. And Sir Jason Noveda, good morning to everyone from Rizal Technological University in Mandaluyong campus. And lastly, we have Ma'am Debonair Maanyo. Magandang umaga po sa inyo from UPHSD Grad School po. And Ma'am Aliza May Martinez, magandang umaga also from UPHSD Grad School. We have great number of participants from UPHDST. Okay, I think it would be ideal for us now to officially start our session. So with that, I would like everyone now listening, especially on the different platforms we have there in YouTube, to kindly monitor now and remain focused. Siemens Technology defined digitalization in education as the use of desktop computers, mobile devices, the internet, software applications, and other types of digital technology to teach students of all ages. The same with Shemen's forecast of education in the nearest future and to that of what we are experiencing in the present. Us in PICE I-21 also believe that eventually education will be an entirely digital pursuit fortified by artificial intelligence and virtual reality. We are now on the third semester embracing our what we call new normal in education. The face-to-face setup is now predominantly digitalized. Thus, despite us struggling to adapt to this new normal, we are still expected to continue conniving and responding to the challenges brought to us by digitalization of education and by the pandemic. To help the members, educators, and researchers of PICE I-21 and our affiliated organizations, we decided to come up with this national virtual training conference with much focus on the integration, on research, and education of digitalization. We obviously wanted to remain dynamic and adaptable to the changes in education. One of the main reasons, I guess, why we decided to be present in this event. This training conference is designed for all educators in public and private elementary, secondary, and higher educational institutions. So, to formally start our event, may I request everyone now to be in silence for the prayer. Let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Lord, we offer everything to you in this event. We glorify you and thank you for every person that is with us today. May you guide our speakers so that they would be able to effectively impart their God-given wisdom to all of us. May they be blessed as they continue to share their expertise to everyone who needs them. Continue to protect our nation and all of our brothers and sisters that we may be able to defeat this pandemic. Keep us safe, O Lord. Amen. To formally welcome us in this two-day National Virtual Training Conference, let us have Professor Emmy Jan Indonila Palmani, National President of PICE I-21 for her opening and welcome remarks. Let us give Ma'am Emmy a virtual round of applause. Good morning, ma'am.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, a pleasant morning to my co 21st century educators. I am so glad and overwhelmed to see a number of participants in today's webinar. Your attendance is a sign the teachers are also learners, learners who strive to learn more, to teach more, and to help more. We are 21st century educators, not just of our country, but of the whole world. And thus, people around us expect a lot of things from us. For them, we are their role models, for they believe we are the jacks of all trades. Aside from making them academically smart, we help them enhance their hidden skills and talents. We are also our students' nurses, nannies, moms and dads inside the classroom, sometimes carpenters, engineers, doctors, lawyers, and even their superheroes. But at the end of the day, we are just human beings. We get tired. But as teachers, we just take a pause to breathe and go on with our duties and responsibilities as teachers. As time passes by, evolution of everything becomes evident. As everyone strives to become better, technology was born. In education, it has a great impact, not only for us teachers, but for our students as well. We don't need to take a lot of time in taking down notes nowadays, right? Because we have computers, we have printers, we have photocopy machines, we have our cell phones. We don't need to talk a lot inside a classroom because we have now recordings, videos, PowerPoint presentations. And in terms of research, we don't need to spend a lot of days, times inside the library because we have now the internet, right? Technology has been our partner in making things easier while achieving our goals. But the questions are, Are we really using technology properly nowadays? Is our future in good hands with technology? With these questions, the PIES I-21 and our affiliated organizations have come to the idea of having a webinar that talks about digitalization in education, where we invited resource speakers who we believe will help us use technology the proper way as it should be for our personal growth, professional growth, and for the betterment of our students and of the next generation. So I will not keep you waiting, my dear 21st century educators. In behalf of the PIES I-21 webinar team, I, Mrs. Emmy Jan and Dunila Palmani, your PIES I-21 National President, welcome you all to our two-day national virtual training conference in digitalization of education. Thank you so much, and please keep on learning and always look for the good in everything. Mabuhay.
Okay, there you have it again. The National President of PIES I-21, Professor Emijan P. Indonila Palmani. Before I formally introduce to you our speaker, I would like everyone listening to the different platforms we have to effectively and responsibly use the chat function in raising your questions. You can write your questions or insights while our speaker is having his discussion, but expect it to be answered during the question and answer portion. We will be having the open forum after the speaker's presentation. To those who would like to personally ask questions, you may also press the raise hand button and we will be notifying you ahead if you're recognized. Thank you. It is now time for me to introduce to you our speaker. Our speaker for this morning is presently the designated University Director for Knowledge and Technology Management, or KTM, of the Research Development and Extension of Cagayan State University, Tuguegarao City since 2018, and concurrently the Campus Research Coordinator of Cagayan State University at LASAM. He is occupying the faculty rank of Assistant Professor 4. He started charting his career as a private elementary school teacher at San Lorenzo Ruiz Educational Institute, private school head at Lasam Academy Incorporated, faculty of the School of Education, Arts and Sciences of the University of St. Louis Tuguegarao, to a faculty and administrator of Cagayan State University. He has obtained his PhD in Educational Management at the age of 23 in 2013. Master of Arts in Education, major in Educational Management in 2011. BE Ed Generalist in 2010, and finished academic subjects for BS Ed English in 2013. He has published 29 research articles, indexed in Scopus, Clarivate Analytics, and ASEAN Citation Index journals. He has an H index of 6 and I-10 index of 3. Our speaker is also a seasoned presenter. He has presented researches in various international, national, and regional research conferences and symposia, and was awarded Best Research Presenter and Best Research Paper Awardee. He was awarded Distinguished Faculty Researcher in the Social Science category of Cagayan State University. He presently serves as editor and reviewer of various SSCI, Web of Science Index, and Scopus Elsevier journals, such as International Journal of Learning, Teaching, and Educational Research, Sage Open, article editor and reviewer, Journal of Technology and Science Education, Studies of Applied Economics, and guest editor for Economics of Education, Eurasian Journal of Educational Research, Journal of Social Studies Education Research, and Asia Pacific Journal of Multidisciplinary Research. He also co-authored 5 books, namely Research Methodology, Quantitative and Qualitative, a practical guide for researchers from gaps identification to publication, How to Conduct Action Research in Education, the teacher and community, school culture and organizational leadership, how to write and publish your thesis, and how to write and publish your dissertation. He has engaged also in externally and institutionally funded research projects of the Cagayan State University in collaboration with the government agencies such as the Department of Science and Technology and the Department of Agriculture. He's an associate member of the National Research Council of the Philippines under Division 1 on governmental, educational, and international policies and was conferred as a fellow of the Royal Institute of Educators Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, to discuss to us about innovations in digital research methods, we have Gilbert C. Magulod Jr., PhD, LPT, FRI, EDR. Good morning, Doc. Nice to see you again.
Thank you very much, Professor Jose Abrian Casella. My warmest felicitations to the organizers of this laudable activity, the president of PICE I-21, Professor Emmy Jan Palmani, Professor Ricky Kebinko, and of course, to all the participants. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. In our language, naimbag nga bigat kada kayo amin. Okay? So that means to say, magandang umaga po. So Filipino language, laging may maganda. Okay? So the topic given to me is on the innovations in digital research, and I'd like to focus on the use of mixed methods research. Last time I talked about the community-based research design, and this time I was given again the opportunity to talk on the innovations and research, which I would like also to emphasize here, the use of mixed methods research. So let me begin with this. President Palmani already gave us an orientation on the use of technology when we talk of research, wherever we are, whatever we are. And really, if we will use all these technologies, we can really generate good research outputs. And let me begin with this, that we have what we call the online research skill now. And this online research skills bundle, as you can see, are already here with us. Since the advent of this pandemic, we also look already to the ways and means on how we can do research, whether we are still in our home, in the comfort of our home, through the use of online technologies, necessarily, and at the same time, we are already coming up with a research, or we are learning. Okay, so we have this online research skill that when we talk of research, we start really with the exploration of the literature, and the internet is a classroom. It's actually an open classroom for everyone, that it provided us the opportunity. Actually, I called already the internet as the great social equalizer, the Facebook as the great social equalizer, because it equalizes the poor and the rich. Whether you are a poor, whether you are a rich person, you are all equal when you talk of Facebook, because we are all using it. We all have access of it. And of course, as you can see, this research skill can be the way how you explore the literature, find and share data and code, connect with others. The better we collaborate with people now because of this technology. At the bench, even in our office, and we write, we publish, and we can evaluate research. And even we can really try to understand whether the data presented to us in the internet are factual or not factual. Okay, so ang topic ko po ay digital innovations in research methods. Okay, let me begin with this, that digital technologies really have driven us researchers to revisit not only the themes and questions of their research, but also their research methodologies. I would like to emphasize here that I got a literature coming from Tinati and his associates in 2014, that these innovations in research, we call it digital or virtual, is not really new, but it's already years back, they already implemented this one. And due to the pandemic, we have no choice than to embrace this as part of our way of living, and often leading to the creation of novel methods of research. If we go back to if we try to retrospect and reflect the way how we gather data, no, we go to the field, we conceptualize our research problem, then we identify the research method, and it's really a way of face-to-face interaction na pag-gather po natin noon. Pero with this pandemic, it gives us already the opportunity to extend more. Kasi kung noon, when you do research, especially when your scope of your research is within the national context, you need to travel to Visayas, to Mindanao, no, in the southern part of the Philippines. But today, no, the gift of technology is even when we are doing research now, we can create our survey instrument, we collaborate with scholars around the world, and we do a survey that is actually one way of expanding our opportunities. I have an experience of doing an international survey just last month, and I was able to partner with professors around the world, and we just started on the readiness of students on e-learning. At ang representation ng sample na namin ngayon is we have actually 3,000 respondents that represented na yung 7 continents of the world. So it's really an international study. And I am very thankful that we have all of these technologies that could really help us to go beyond our limits. And in the scrutiny of journal publication, mas prefer na rin nila yung researches na ang sampling mo ay mas malawakan. Okay, but of course, my topic today is focused on mixed method, and we will try to dig deeper on how we can do research through a mixed methodology and using these digital or virtual methods of research. Early scholars acknowledged that the tools, the applications, the content, formatting, and other internet affordances not only repackage existing research methods, adapting them to the internet, but also suggest completely new and often innovative approaches to and methods of research. Ladies and gentlemen, what I would like you to have at the end of this 2-hour session is pagkatapos nito, at least man lang, you will be able to come up with your research topics and form already your plan on how you will do it through digital or through virtual method. Pero ang gusto ko kasing mangyari is dapat you can do research with the use of quantity and quality, which is actually the mixed methods of research. Okay? Next. So here comes the word digital research and the use of digital technologies, tools, and services. Of course, I got a literature from Tatsu in 2016, no, that researches into blogs, social networking sites, virtual worlds, virtual communities, instant messaging spaces, no, are important tools to do research. Particularly those who are doing research here or who are researchers on language education. Napakadami na pong opportunities ngayon na pwede niyong magawa when you do research. There are already students who are doing research on the effectiveness of WhatsApp in the language development of students, the use of Viber, no, the use of breakthrough Zooms and everything. And these are actually part of a good endeavor when we talk of these technologies of research. Okay, and as the actual sphere wherein research is positioned and from which researchers can draw research material and data coming from online data sets and repositories, search engines, data aggregators, automated means of data scraping. There was a question na ang hirap talagang gumawa ng research. Ito yung sinasabi nila. Bakit? Kailangan mo ng funding, kailangan mong mag-survey, kailangan mo ng travel allowance. But if you are really passionate about to do research and enhance your field, kahit nakaupo ka lang dyan sa upuan mo na yan, sa desk mo na yan, at the comfort of your home spaces, you can actually come up with a research, and that is getting data from secondary sources. And that is actually a research on doing literature review. Okay? So mamaya i-explore natin kasi I will be presenting to you techniques on how you will get reviews, you will get studies that can back up your problem later on. Okay? But most importantly, that when we are researchers of this now normal, no, I emphasize this now normal kasi nung 2020 new normal kasi 2021 na ngayon, so it's now normal for us, for me. So the needed skill is the information literacy. So it is your ability now to find, evaluate, organize, use, and communicate information in all its various formats, and most notably in situations requiring decision-making, problem-solving, or acquisition of knowledge. As you can see in the figure, the information literacy has pillars on media literacy, no? Because we cannot talk about digital innovations in research kung hindi tayo marunong mag-Facebook. No? We cannot talk about digital innovations in research kung wala man lang tayong email, wala man lang tayong Google survey, wala man tayong Gmail. So these are actually the necessary prerequisites so that you can have this information literacy. No? Siguro wala naman ng tao ngayon na walang Facebook. So next, of course, the research and library skills. No, the internet is replete with so much websites and databases wherein you can get fresh studies to support and back up the theories and the variables of your research. And of course, your critical literacy on how you will include this information as part of your introduction or part of your literature review. But of course, you must be able to be guided with the ethics of information, which is the way how you respect the intellectual property of the individual, though you get the information from the internet. And as we talk of copyright and the security and data privacy. So marami pong naibigay sa atin ng technology na enhance ang ating kalinangan, no, nalinang ang ating mga research skill, nagamit natin ang mga tools na ito. But of course, most importantly also is we need to have and to put in mind the ethics of information we have. We must bear in mind that we have what we call the Data Privacy Act. Okay, let me continue so that I can provide proper information. So if you try to look at this one, I got this figure from a study, again by Satsu, published in Science Direct. And it's actually the digital in the research process. Ibig pong sabihin nito, so maraming siyang mga bilog-bilog, and it all started that when you do research planning. Planning pa lang ng research mo, you have already used technology. In what way? Of course, in research planning, I am encouraging you that when you would like to do a study on a particular problem of inquiry, isipin po ninyo kung sino yung pwede nyo nang kakolaborate dyan. Sino po yung pwede nyong magiging kakosa? Okay? Sino yung pwede nyong gagawing katandem for this specific research? Kasi luma na po yung sinasabi natin na ecosystem na ako, and we are now transcending. We are now going to the what we call ecosystem. No, yung lahat na tayo, we, from I to we. So in research, I would like to encourage everyone that we need also to collaborate with experts, to collaborate with those who are also specialists in this field so that the credibility of our research outputs will eventually be obtained or achieved. So for research planning, we have the research idea and research proposal. Ginamitan mo na yan ng technology. Sabi ko nga, kung makapag-download ka ng isang article at yung article na doon, nandoon yung email ad ng author, why not approach the author? Why not talk with the author? Why not talk with this individual? Perhaps that individual who had already published a certain research with the topic you would like to do has something to share with you. Okay? And of course, after research planning, research framing and contextualization. Digging now to the literature on what is all about that problem, what is all about that research, what are the theories, what are the evidences already. And of course, you use even technology to that aspect. In research fieldwork, no? Data collection, data storage, technologies in research are very useful. We have online tools, online technology tools to gather data for us. No? And of course, even in data analysis and analysis storage and everything, the internet can also provide us tools for us to analyze our data, no? Compute the uh, statistical aspect of our research, no? Or even for qualitative research. Okay, then later on in your research findings, no? Hanggang sa research findings mo, ginawa mo siya na report, pinublish mo, still you even use technology. Binalik mo sa internet, pinublish mo yung research mo, dinownload nila, people will read it. And of course, on the dissemination and related outcomes. Now, what I would like to tell you is that in all aspects of this, the different stages of the research process, researchers may use different digital technologies throughout the research process. So, napaka tawag dito, napaka mas maayos na, napakaganda ngayon ang naidudulot sa atin ng technological environment na ito, because we are provided with the opportunities to do researches at our comfort. Okay? So, but of course, there are aspects also that there are certain studies that you need to go to the field to look at the situation of the people, if that's really your research that you would like to do. Okay, but what I'm emphasizing here is in all the aspects of research process, technology has its use. Okay, moving on. And how can digital tools help researchers? First, community and collaboration. Okay, how many of you here listening participants who are already come up with a research in collaboration with international experts or national experts? Alam niyo, napakabilis na ngayon ang mag-connecta at humingi rin ng funding sa mga funding institutions. Okay, they are just mag-email lang sila sa atin. They provided us the research agenda. We look at the research agenda. We draft a proposal. We present to them. We send to them. That's actually the 21st century process of collaboration in research. No? The other one is search and retrieval of information. No, napakabilis na nga. Sabi ko kanina, in our survey on the international readiness of students, we have already thousands of respondents and represented by the 7 continents. Imagine kung walang technology na nagamit, then wala ka pa sigurong 100 na respondents doon kung talagang doon ka sa face-to-face. But of course, we are very thankful that this technology is providing us the ways on how we could come up with information. No? We have also the use of data in new and creative ways. When we talk of research now in digital research, is that it does not necessarily mean that you need to do it in a way na talagang puntahan mo, okay? So, and even when you will write later on your research findings, no, we are going now to what we call innovations, no? Kung noon ang patok kung magsulat, kung mag-present ka ng findings ng research mo, i-table mo siya, okay? But ngayon we are using already the cloud, the word cloud, no? We are using already the presentation of a graphical data, no? Tabular or graphical data. So coming from data analytics and other resource materials that can be used or can be found in the internet. And of course, the use of digital form to capture objects. So these are actually the benefits of digital tools. Now, I get this from Emerald Publishing, how to use digital tools for research. Okay, so we have the research need and the possible Web 2.0 application. In identifying a research project, no? Sabi ko kanina, we already provided with the open access repositories of the government agencies. We already provided with the research agenda of this institution in their website. So that could be a good way for you to identify a research project in collaboration with people, in collaboration with experts, in collaboration legislation or regulatory bodies of the government. Identifying funding streams, no? Especially when you are a member of the National Research Council of the Philippines, no? I hope the other listening teachers here or professors here coming from state universities, mag-apply po kayo sa National Research Council of the Philippines so that you can get your membership. You know what? It's easier for you to get grants, to get funding, especially when they look at your specialization. Kasi sa NRCP po, may mga asosasyon yung mga kanya-kanyang field of specialization. Okay, they can tap you as experts, they can tap you as a project leader, they can tap you as somebody who can conduct research in your area. Okay, and of course, collaboration and research proposal. You can do this through Skype, Zoom, no? Collaboration over research information through Google Documents, writing reports and other outputs through Google Documents, and of course, disseminating results through open access repositories, webinars, virtual, and conferences. Okay, so now, we focus now on the mixed methods research design problem. Kasi ang focus ko po ngayon dito, gagamitin natin yung mga tools na yan, yung mga online tools na yan, para makagawa tayo ng research that are actually using a mixed methods research design. I like to show you a sample statement of the problem for a mixed methods research design. No? So as you can see, the purpose of this study is to describe and evaluate the effect of an anti-bullying program X on bullying in middle school using a mixed methods approach. And of course, for statement 1, we have quantitative research question because mixed methods research should start with quantitative portion of a research question. So what effect does anti-bullying program X have on the prevalence of bullying in middle school? Okay, so to be followed by a qualitative research question. How do students describe their experiences with bullying before and after anti-bullying program X? And of course, the mixed method research question here is, how does this mixed methods design of the study contribute to our understanding on the effect of anti-bullying program and the nature of that effect? Now, if you will be venturing to mixed methods research design, because somehow, ang mga nakikita ko kasi is, there are researches that are being conducted na plainly, they use digital online tools plainly on quantitative, online survey. Yung iba naman, plainly on qualitative. But the trend today, when we talk of research quality, is the use of quanti and quali, marry them together, and that's actually the use of mixed method researches. So if you try to look at the words here, the purpose, describe, evaluate, affect, mixed methods approach are actually better way of understanding the problem of inquiry than using a single research design. So ang opportunity po na naibibigay sa atin ng mixed methods now is there will always be a triangulation of our research data. Okay, so now I would like to introduce to you that when you talk of mixed method research, it involves now the collecting, integrating your quantitative and quali in a single research project, and that can result in a more comprehensive understanding of the phenomenon under the investigation. This is not common to you. This is already common to you, no? I-review lang po natin. So mixed methods research is then for MMR approaches relying on combining the deductive to inductive to generate quanti and quali data and integrate the data sets in some way. Now, if we are using online technology tools through research, how do we use tools for quantitative and how do we use tools for qualitative? Remember that when we talk of mixed methods research design, sabi ko kanina, ito yung ina-encourage na, no, sa mga scholars, no, for us social researchers, So because your mixed methods research already provided you the breadth, the depth and the breadth of the research. So as you can see in the figure, for quanti, you do data collection, data analysis, and result. For quali, you also do the same, data collection, data analysis, and results, then compare and contrast, and that actually leading to the interpretation of your data. Okay, so yun po yung i-walk through ko kayo mamaya. Now, let's go back to John Creswell, who is the proponent of this. That according to John Creswell, when we do research, no, there are actually types on how we integrate data, how to integrate this data into a single research, especially when we are doing our thesis, doing our dissertation, no. So according to Creswell, these 4 ways can be: first, you can merge the data, getting the data from the quanti and quali results, then bring it together, then compare. So merging it. The second one is explaining the data, wherein the qualitative data are used to explain the results of qualitative data. So there are studies being conducted that ginamitan siya ng concept of explaining the data, wherein you get the quantitative part. In order to explain the quantitative part, the quantitative result, he interviewed people. No, he interviewed the respondents to explain. So a good way to triangulate. The other one is building the data that based from the findings of the qualitative, they are used to build the quantitative phase of the study. And lastly, embedding the data in which one set of data is used to augment or support the other set of data. Okay? So, depende po ito kung paano natin gagamitin, because the use of mixed methods research design will eventually provide us a better output, a better analysis of the problem, and a better picture of the problem we would like to explore. Okay? Moving on. Now, okay, may mga pahapyaw pa tayo on the types of mixed methods research design. The first type can be the explanatory sequential design. Okay, ito yung when you do a research, you begin with quantitative methods. You begin with online survey, you begin with quantitative aspect, then you followed with qualitative methods to explain the quantitative findings in depth. So this is actually yung pinaka-common na mixed method na ginagamit natin sa research. Okay? So Green noted that the use of this explanatory sequential design provided us what we call the triangulation. The opportunities for convergence and corroboration of results that are derived from different research methods. So the triangulation will eventually provide us if the self-reported learning style of the student can be triangulated through interview with him so that we will have a more valid, more reliable data. Okay, for example, we did an online survey on the learning styles of these students. Of course, when we talk of online survey, students will just only fill out or tick on the box doon sa survey nyo using the Google form. Pero it's just a matter of self-report, self-assessment. You must be able to understand that when it's a self-assessment, medyo may pagkabias yan. Okay? For us, even for us teachers, we are married to our work. No? Especially when teaching effectiveness. You evaluate yourself, you do self-assessment of yourself. Alangan naman na ibaba mo yung sarili mo. Okay? So, through that way, the use of mixed method is you also get interviews, you get notes from them, and so that you will be able to have an explanation of the quantitative data you generated. And actually, the best way to do research today is to do with triangulation. Kahit noon pa yan. Matagal na konsepto ito, pero what I'm saying is, in the now normal, because we are using online tools, when we talk of research now, Why not do an online survey and later on do interview through Zoom, do interview through Messenger, do interview through Google Meet? Okay? So these are actually the opportunities we can do. Okay? And of course, the essence here is the complementarity of that quanti and quali, because they seek to elaborate, enhance, illustrate, and clarify the result from one method with the result from another. Okay, so in the figure you can see a quantitative phase going to quali phase and quali phase going to quantitative phase. So we generate data through online survey, through quantitative, then we also do interviews through these platforms in the internet or available in the website that we can use so that we can generate data. Okay, moving on. So of course, the other type also is convergent or concurrent design, in which you will be involving quanti and quali data, analyze both data sets, then integrate the two sets of analysis in order to cross-validate or compare the findings. Okay, so mga pamamaraan po ito ng mixed method later on. And of course, the concurrent triangulation known as convergent. It's a popular design type which involves the implementation of both quanti and quali phases of the research at the same time. Okay, so as you can see in the figures, no, converge. Okay, so now, if you try to reflect and try to look at this one, kung kayo ay researcher, saan kayo doon? No? Will you be focusing in a single design on quanti or in quali? If you have the opportunities this pandemic to do research in a single study using quanti and quali, do it. Kasi mabilis naman nang gawin eh. No? The gift of technology to us humans is that it makes our life easier. No? It makes our task easier. Okay? Sabi ko nga, yung survey namin na learning style on readiness, 1 week pa lang, imagine thousands na yung nakapag-respond doon. So, a way to tell that it already makes research easier for the one who is gathering it. Okay? Now, we have also the types of mixed method on nesting quali data in quanti design. So this is actually involving a quantitative method as the primary method, then and nesting a qualitative method in the design. So this is it. One may collect the data set simultaneously or before the other, depending how you are using the qualitative data to enhance the quantitative component. So the scientific process of research findings later on in our research with the use of mixed method research design will eventually help us come up with a better picture of the results based on the problem of inquiry. Okay? Now, in a summary, we have the types of mixed methods, no? Explanatory sequential, there's the procedure. Quantitative method is followed by qualitative method in order to explain the quantitative findings. And the type of integration there is explaining the data. For the second one is exploratory sequential. You explore a topic with a qualitative method, then use the findings to develop and implement a quantitative instrument. And that's actually building the data. The convergent or concurrent is quanti and quali data are collected simultaneously or if concurrent, sabay, and the data are brought together and compared, merging the data. Qualitative nested in quantitative means the secondary qualitative component is nested with the primary quantitative design. So embedding the data. That's actually the integration there. And for quantitative nested in qualitative, the secondary quantitative component is nested with primary qualitative data, same as with embedding the data. So these are actually the designs for mixed methods research. Now, let's go back to my topic on the digital innovations in research. Siguro iniisip nyo na, paano ko kaya gagamitin ng exploratory, convergent, nested na ito when I will be doing a research in the internet or I will be doing a research using these digital tools. Okay? So preferably, the best thing to do there is that you need to use properly the technologies that are available for us with a spirit of ethics and privacy. Okay, moving on. Now, so conceptualization of a research problem should start really with, number one, start with a strong research literature and background. Okay? So, katulad sa mga teachers dito na nagtuturo ng research doon sa senior high or junior high, kasi may research subject sila. Sa mga faculty members here teaching investigatory projects, okay? Why not use a strong research literature first to back up the problem of inquiry? And that's actually the first way, the first step on how you will conceptualize a good research problem. Okay, start with strong research literature and background. We have so many available databases that are vetted with Scopus and Thomson Reuters, wherein you can get scientific data, like in Web of Science or in Elsevier. We have that Elsevier database. Imagine na yung bata na grade 7 pa lang, ang literature niya sa kanyang simple investigatory project galing na sa Elsevier, galing na yan sa Science Direct. So it's actually building or developing the child's scientific literacy. Okay. Number two, identifying, summarizing, and evaluate the current theory and methods you will be using in your research. And of course, you do literature review first because you would like to identify the problems in the methods and the gaps, the known to unknown in the research. I must be able to tell you that when you talk of research publication, when you talk of globalization, localization of your research problem, it should always start with a research gap. Okay? It should always start with a research gap. And of course, try to conceptualize your research problem in partnership with people, in partnership with agencies. No? Because granting agencies require literature review to justify the research project you would like to implement. And that's actually getting the rationale and background of the study. And of course, put in mind, no, this is actually what I am advocating, translational research. No? Think of a way and put in mind that at the completion of your research, na-translate ba yan into a project? May product ba? May patent? May policy? The planet here is, these are already the studies being conducted on environmental awareness, protection of the environment. May publication ba na nangyari? May partnership ba na nangyari? May people services ba na nangyari? So regardless whether your research is a basic research or applied research, you know, when we talk of basic research kasi, these are actually the researches that are the studies that are theoretical, knowledge expansion, no? Studies conducted on surveys. But for applied researches are actually the researches on practical innovation, no? Betterment of humans, development of tools, materials, and etc. But regardless whether they are basic or applied research, put in mind that there should always be a translational aspect of that. Okay? Kahit basic research pa yung ginawa mo, later on, you will be hoping that your research will be translated into a policy. To the listening university professors here or university, yung mga nasa state universities and colleges ngayon, no? We have already the draft for National Budget Circular or your NBC, and doon sa drafted na evaluation tool for faculty members to get promoted to the higher ranks is nabibigyan ng puntos po yung mga researches ninyo na nakanda na na-translate, na-utilize. Okay, so may puntos na ngayon yon. Kaya see to it kung paano kayo makagawa ng research na may patutunguhan at mararamdaman ng komunidad later on. Of course, let's start with how a research could become relevant through research literature and background. Okay, so I'd like to introduce to you the digital tool using Prisma 2020. Okay, your Prisma 2020 is actually stands for preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Okay, for every faculty here or every teacher who wish to do research on a certain problem, do you really do a review of your variables before you conduct it? That should be a must for everyone. Okay, that should be a must for everyone. And part of this digital innovations in research is madali na lang kumuha ng mga literature and references sorry, that could really justify the background, the findings later on, the literature of our research using this Prisma 2020. And who should use it? Okay, authors are using Prisma because they help authors improve the reporting of systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Okay, yung sabi natin ngayon na kung ikaw ay researcher and you would like to do a research on learning styles, what are the studies conducted on learning styles? And what have not been studied about learning styles? Hindi mo masasagot yon kung wala kang literature review. So what I'm showing to you is a Prisma 2020. I would like to share to you the website wherein you can get the information. This is actually the Prisma 2020. Okay. So transparent reporting system. Ang maganda dito is before you start doing a research, you can already do a review of the paper that you would like to do, you would like to venture on. So go to Prisma website, and this Prisma website will give you tools for in you can get the format, you can get checklists on how you will get references. Okay, so nandito may mga Prisma checklist tayo dito that could address the introduction, methods, results, and discussion sections of a systematic review report. Okay, so Prisma checklist, i-open ko. Okay, so your Prisma checklist is actually put into an IMRAD format. No? And for example, if one is interested here to do research on learning styles, then you must first have the title and identify report as a systematic review. Okay, so requirement yon bago ka mag-conduct ng learning style na research. Kasi punong-puno na ngayon ng learning styles na research ang internet. So kung ikaw ay gagawa ng research on learning styles through the use of digital tools, paano mo iplaplano at paano mo gagawin ngayon? So my suggestion here is the use of Prisma 2022 checklist can be of help to you. Okay, so of course look for the abstract, the introduction, the rationale, the objectives. Your methods for Prisma will state the eligibility criteria. So for example, ito yung sabi ko na laging sinasabi whenever I have a talk is that if you are doing a research on this, you must download kahit 20 man lang na articles about sa topic na yan. At sa 20 na topics na yan, come up with your own synthesis or meta-analysis using this Prisma 2020. Okay? So your method will be eligibility criteria. What are the criteria for you to get references? Specify the inclusion and exclusion. Suppose that you would like to do research on sustainable development practices for the certain community. You must be able to do a literature review on sustainable development practices for the past 5 years. So synthesize at least 20 or 200 studies talking about sustainable practices. And that will eventually provide you as a researcher the better understanding of the problem you are doing. And of course, state where did you get the information or sources. O hindi lang po basta-basta kinukuha kung saan-saan ang references for our research, lalong-lalo na ngayon sa advent ng technological innovation. No? We do not really encourage now na kukuha pa kayo ng references galing sa shelf ng library kung yung book na yun ay matagal at old na unless you are doing historical research, no? But if you are doing basic research, eventually you must be able to debunk uh, previous theories now na hindi na applicable. Okay? And of course, in Prisma method, do a search strategy. Present the full search strategies for databases, registers, and websites. Then, tell to us, how did you select the papers? No? Kung mag-synthesize ka na 20 na research papers for a certain problem of inquiry, specify the method used. Decide whether a study met the inclusion criteria of the review, including how many reviewers screen each record and each report retrieved, whether they work independently, details or information tools in the process. Okay po? Then, of course, state your data collection, specify the method, how you collected the data items, list and define all outcome in which data were sought, no, list all defined variables, no, and going down, this will eventually provide you a good resynthesis paper for a problem of inquiry. Okay? Para sa akin po, I am encouraging you that before you do a research, gawa muna kayo ng meta-analysis paper about sa research ninyo para hindi po kayo outdated. Okay? Para hindi kayo outdated, para lagi kayong updated. Diba? So we have also here expanded checklist. So take this one, no? Aralin po ninyo, go to Prisma so that you will be able to understand how a meta-analysis paper can eventually work for you. Okay? So this is actually Prisma 2020. Now, okay? So I'm hoping that when we talk of online research, no? When we talk of online tools in research, ito yung magiging basis ninyo later on. Okay? To come up with your review paper or meta-synthesis paper. Okay. Now, I will be walking you through to the online tools for literature review now. Okay? So we have here 7. Cite, Google Scholar, Semantic Scholar, PubMed, Connected Papers, British Library, Google Patents for their prior art search. Because I strongly believe that whether it's basic or applied research, ang una yung skill dapat na i-develop when you talk of doing research is your media literacy to get information about the problem. And what I'm presenting to you now are websites wherein you can get possible literature to justify your problem. Okay. So, hindi pa rin po tayo lumalayo sa topic natin na innovations in digital research. Okay? Kasi these are actually the innovations now, whether you like it or not. Okay? So, I am showing to you, where is it now? A website wherein you can get a credible reference. Okay? So, start here, go to site. Okay? Kikita po ninyo ang site. What is a site? Okay, site stands for SCITE. Tanong mo, sir, I will be doing a research on classroom management style. Saan po ba tayo dito sa education sector? Sa education? Okay, baka po may mga engineers po dito. Okay, so sabihin mo tuloy ngayon sa estudyante mo or sa sarili mo, I am thinking of doing a research on the language learning engagement of students. So saan kaya ako kukuha ng references? Okay, what I can suggest you, go to SCITE. Okay, so type language learning engagement here. Okay, and presto, you have already the generated data. So it shows you have 8,678 search results about language learning. Okay? Now, what is good with this is, di ba, kukuha ka ngayon ng literature mo kung ano yung studies na nakandak na about this one at ano yung studies na nag-support sa findings niya, ano yung studies na minention lang siya At ano yung studies na nagko-contrast sa sinasabi niya? Kasi lagi nating hinahanap ito eh. What are the studies that are refuting your findings? What are the studies that concur with your findings? So the comparison of the previous and the previous literature with your findings. So what I am showing to you is that as the site is a very good platform for you to get information so that you can come up with a good research gap for your study. Okay, suppose that you are doing a research on, and doon na lang tayo sa research ko kasi favorite ko talaga yun, no? Language, learning styles. For example, ang area of interest mo is learning style. Ano kaya yung mga pangyayari about learning style ngayon na researches? Okay, let's specify one research. Okay, for example, dito na lang tayo sa article ko, no? Okay, learning style, study habits, and academic performance of university students in applied science courses. So as you can see here, we have the citation filter. Okay, we have here the supporting, mentioning, contrasting. Ano pong ibig sabihin nito? Itong supporting is ipapakita niya kung ano yung research na nag-support sa findings na ito. Ano naman yung researches na nag-mention sa research na ito? At ano naman yung researches na kumokontra, contrasting to the findings of this research. Okay, so a good way to start is click here. Okay, welcome to site. And the paper shows that it has 13 there are actually 13 citations of the paper. Okay, so tignan natin. Okay, so as you can see here, there are two supporting researches that are two mentioning, 12 yung nag-mention, and wala pa nag-contrast. Okay? So wala pang kwan. So let's look on the support. Okay. Let's look at the support. Magulod claims that in most university students have moderate levels of study habits. Okay, so this is the study that support my findings. It has a Okay, so this shows that this study can be a good source for you to get para you can include as part of your literature later on. Okay, so you can also look at here in year it was published. Hindi kasi naka-online yung site ko. Okay, saglit lang po ha, i-login ko lang. I-login ko lang po para mas ma-utilize natin. Ayan. Ayan. Okay. So pag clinic nyo yung paper, no? You can also do a visualization of the report. And this is actually a good way for you to start. What are the studies that are related to learning styles? So pwede mo nang kunin yung study ni Tivan, ni Campirat, ni Filden, ni Kolb, ni Shirban, ni et al, ni N et al. Okay? So from this study, sinasabi niya ngayon na there are already studies cited in my study who supports my findings. Okay? So, nakikita nyo, mas mabilis na. Okay? Kasi when you talk of learning style, nandyan rin si Cobb na theoretical component ng research ninyo. Okay? Nandyan din si Fieldman. Okay? Nandyan rin si Campirat. And all of these are part of your research literature. Okay? Di ba, laging sinasabi ng advisor niyo, hanap ka ng kumontra sa findings na yan. Hanap ka ng findings na nag-agree sa findings na yan. Okay? What I'm suggesting you is use site as a reference. Okay po ba tayo dyan? Okay? So you can already have a visualization of the report. You can already see, you can already have this one. Okay. Now, so, nakikita natin, may dalawa. Okay. Citation types, pwede mo ring tanggalin yan para ang ilagay mo yung nag-support lang. Yung nag-mention, 91% po ang confidence ng nag-mention sa akin. Okay? At wala pa pong kumontra sa findings ng research ko. So, hindi ko alam kung may ko-kontra later on kasi hindi naman natin alam ang mangyayari in the future. So, this means to say that the use of cite is an effective way for you to get references coming from the internet. The use of digital tools in research. Okay? So, yan po. So, Cite is a Brooklyn-based startups that help researchers better discover and evaluate scientific articles through smart citations. So, ito yung lagi nating problema. Kahit mag-check rin ako ng research ng estudyante ko, look for studies that will support this one and this one. Okay, tapos na ang isang buwan, wala pa siyang nakuha. Okay, until such time we met Cite, then yun na, ginamit na namin and eventually, it eventually helped us. Okay? So, ito yung sample natin. Okay, so the supporting claims here, no, it will show you what are the studies that support, previous studies that support my findings. Okay, and what are also the present studies that support my findings. Okay, so hindi ka na mahirapang kumuha ng references mo. Okay, so another one is Google Scholar through citation tracing. No? For example, if this is your research, then try to trace back those who cited the paper. That will eventually lead us to better conceptualization of your research problem, the gap in your research. Okay? So, ipagpindutin mo, because I have 39 citations in this research, pindutin mo yan, then eventually, ito yung mga nag-cite sa paper na yan that are supporting or contrasting sa findings ko. In other way around naman, ito naman yung strategies na nag-support at hindi nag-support. So just look at the tracing of the literature. Okay? Moving on. Of course, do not forget your PubMed, which is a way for you to learn more about this literature. Okay? Then, of course, your semantic scholar is there. No? Of course, connected paper. Now, I will be walking you through here on how to use, aside from Cite, that this is actually a good way for you to do research using this online tool is the use of connected papers. You know what? This connected database will help you explore more findings or more literature that could support your variables. Okay, for example, kasi maganda dito, nag-build siya ng graph. Suppose that you would like to know what are the studies here in the Philippines about the topic on child abuse. Natin, child abuse, then click Philippines. Then click search. Okay, so there are already studies here, factors associated with intention to report child abuse among district hospitals and nurses in Iloilo, tackling online sexual abuse in the Philippines. Now, suppose that you would like to get this, no, and you would like to get information, you click on the graph and it will build graph. It will visualize what are the literature that are eventually helping you to come up with the problem. So doon sa paper na clinic natin, ito yung mga literature na cite niya. Okay? So minamapa niya ngayon. Nakikita po ba ninyo? Okay, so attention, he is the researcher and this is actually the research at ito yung mga researches na na-cite niya and these are actually the graph. The graphs. Okay? So pag ang maganda dito is pag i-click mo si Salami, ano kayong study ni Salami? Ipapakita niya sa'yo kung ano yung study ni Salami here. So child abuse in Saudi Arabia. Okay? Child abuse in Saudi Arabia. Child inpatient nurses perception of maltreatment by Lavin, no? In Suzuki naman sa Japan, the child maltreatment. So eventually, this will help you understand that the research you are doing has bearing to literature, has bearing to the website, has bearing to the world. No? Kasi sabi natin, a research can debunk or it concur or if not to concur, refute findings, existing findings. So with this graph, using connected papers will help you better understand the variables of your study. O mahihirapan ka pa ba na kukuha dyan ng literature? Hindi na. Kasi nandito naman na sila. Okay? So when we click on Carlson, yan yung kanyang study. When you click on Min, okay, when you click on Cho. So, alam nyo, with the advent of technology, ladies and gentlemen, ang hirap na ngayon, ang mas tawag dito, in as much as mataas yung infringement ng copyright, madali na lang din na detect yung mga nangongopya sa hindi nangongopya. Okay? So, this is actually also one of the benefits, one of the advantages of research through these online tools, through digital innovations. Okay? So, here, there. Okay, ang maganda pa, hindi ka na mahihirapan. Okay? So, if you wish to click on Chan, ayun yung study ni Chan. Okay? So, ito yung study ni Chan. Where is Chan? Okay, i-click mo si Chan, dadalhin ka niya kung saan siya nakuha. Kung saan kanya dinala at gusto mo na siyang i-cite, basahin mo muna yung kanyang abstract, then later on, cite it, and choose APA, copy this one to your MS Word. Presto, you have a literature to justify the problem of your research. Okay? So that's actually the use of connected paper. Okay, yan. So ito naman yung sa akin, no? Learning styles available pa rin. It also presents to you the title, the last author of those being cited and who cited you, the graph citation. Okay. The other one is the search and retrieval of information or using the British Library. So what I am showing to you now are the platforms wherein you can get literature for your study. Okay? Now, so ito po yung mga mga pamamaraan kung saan pa kayo kukuha ng mga information. Okay? The others naman here are, of course, nakalimutan kong i-present sa inyo the use of your Google Patents. Okay? Especially when you are doing an applied research. Okay, so sa mga DepEd teachers dito, lalong-lalo na sa mga investigatory project ng mga estudyante ninyo, no? Why not require them Google Patents na pala 'yon. Okay? Why not require them to explore first on the prior arts of their researches, no? Somehow you may require your students to come up with tools, invent tools, innovate tools for their outputs, then let them search for Google Patents. Okay? So ito, you click on Google Patents, no information available this time. Google Patents is not available. So i-explore nyo na lang later. Okay, moving on. Okay. Now, suppose that you will be doing, suppose that you are doing a, part of your mixed method research is a quantitative research. And when you talk of quantitative research, even qualitative research, may sampling technique dyan. May sampling din po ang qualitative, may sampling din po ang quantitative. But what is the most important thing here to consider is, instead of using yung tinatawag ninyo na Slovens, baka may ibang resort pa kayo na pwedeng kunin, like this online sampling calculator in Rawsoft. Okay? Because your online sampling calculator in Rawsoft will help you get better calculation of the representation of your data. Free po ito. Puntahan nyo lang po, then tingnan nyo. So because it will show you the margin of error. Of course, 5% is the common. The confidence level is 95%. Kung 95, your population size, for example, is 2,000 and the distribution rate is 50. So sinasabi ni Rausop, sa 2,000 na yan, 377 lang ang kunin mo. Okay? So you can do online survey of your students there in your area, in your school. No, you get the total population of your institution, compute through Rausop, how many would you like to get as the respondent. And of course, when you talk of research publication, lagi pong panyan. Yung mga papers na gumagamit ng Rausop ngayon sa sampling technique ay mas pinapaboran ng mga journals. Kasi they are looking at the correct number of calculation of respondents. Okay, next. Of course, we are also replete with online statistical tools that you may use in your quantitative research. No? Especially when you would like to compare the effectiveness of an intervention using t-test for independent means. Okay, or using the performance of the students, male and female, in a certain language testing, then there are available online statistical tools that you can use, like social science statistics. Okay, so madali pong gamitin kasi when you click on the t-test calculator, sa dialog boxes will appear. You put group A, then group B, then eventually will help you to do exploration. No, sasabihin niya, it will interpret the data for you. Okay. Of course, Webb and Wang identify several advantages of online qualitative methods versus traditional research methods naman in communication. Okay, with of course, in online qualitative research, researchers can simply have harvest data sets. Okay, madali na lang po. Researchers can collect data as quickly. I have a student who did a research on the tweets, no? Ginawa niya ng analysis yung tweets ng students about COVID-19 pandemic. So ginawa niya ng analysis, language analysis. Siyempre may theory siya na ginamitan. So he was able to come up with a research on this. Okay, then of course, social media posters on commenters affords opportunity to study public responses to opinions are also opportunities for you when you would like to do research. And of course, the user interconnectivity allows researcher to follow trails of influence across adoption, innovation with documented evidence or changes. Okay. What I would like to say is in doing research, ethical issues for online survey should be observed. No? Informed consent form as a basic standard for ethical research is that prospective participants can make informed choice whether to consent or to participate. So when you do an online survey, see to it that you have a form wherein the students will provide the consent for you to get his responses. Okay? Especially because we are now reporting also the gender, we are reporting the income, we are reporting the socio-demographic profiles of our respondents when we talk of online survey. So see to it that we need to generate their consent, get their consent so that they will all we are free of what we call the Data Privacy Act of 2012. No, kasi ang mahal po ng pag mapatunayan na guilty tayo diyan, kung researcher tayo, no, mahal po ang makukulong pa po ang mga researchers diyan. Of course, wala naman sigurong mga ganon, pero just a way for us to reflect on this. So the online nature of the survey data challenges traditional research ethics principles such as consent, even the risk, the privacy, anonymity, confidentiality, and autonomy, and adds new methodological complexities surrounding the data storage, security, sampling, and survey design. So these are very important things to consider. Okay? Now, in the internet, suppose that you would like to do an online survey research. No? We have what we call EpiCollect 5. No? Your EpiCollect 5 is actually a very good online technology tool when you will be gathering data. Alam niyo po, you create your form. Ang maganda dito, you can create your form. Of course, you need to come up with your mag-login po kayo diyan, no? Then collect data online or offline. Then ang maganda dito is ipapakita niya yung mapa kung saan nanggaling yung nag-response sa'yo. So it visualize and export your data. So if suppose that you have 500 respondents in your online survey, pag ginamitan mo ng EpiCollect, no? Papakita niya ngayon kung saan nanggaling yung 500 na respondents. So that's actually the beauty of technology when we talk of research. Okay? So creating questionnaire, contacting the sample population, storing the responses, visualization of the survey result could be done online. No? Para ikaw na researcher, pag na-survey mo siya, yun na lang maglagay ng data ng figure doon sa paper. Okay, some survey tools such as EpiData, EpiCollect, and EpiInfo provide facilities to distribute survey form to several data collectors for a real-time data entry in the software and integration of work done by the different data collectors. Okay, so suppose it will be a mixed method. Unahin nyo munang mag-gather ng online survey, or to that online survey, you provide link for Zoom session for the focus group discussion later on, para maka-generate kayo ng data for quantity and data for quality. Then later on, you merge the data together. That will eventually become a mixed methods research. Okay? So essential requirement of ethical online research is your informed consent. Okay, Mahon in 2013 recommends setting an information sheet as the first page of your online survey, with participants required to check a box to indicate consent before accessing the survey. Okay, maglagay kayo ng option doon na do you or I am voluntarily participating in this research. Okay, then i-click naman ng student. This ensures that participants have access to the same information they receive before completing an online or offline survey. Okay, next, sa process ng questionnaire preparation, no? Alam niyo naman na, when you talk of online research, you have your Google Forms, you have your SurveyMonkey and other platforms. But here is the reminder. A weakness in online survey in questionnaire preparation is that researcher cannot probe the participant to get answers and ask leading questions. Now, this is actually the reason why we need to triangulate the research, that you use the Google form to get students' responses. At the same time, you use also Zoom or Google Meet for you to have an interview or focus group interview with the respondents. Okay? So, online survey technique, change the individual's question in the survey tool. The traditional questionnaire will contain only open-ended. However, various online survey tools provide different options to create a complex questionnaire. These tools also enable us to create automated data. Okay, next, this is actually for quantitative component on questionnaire preparation. Next is qualitative data gathering tools. So you know how to use Zoom, how to use FaceTime, but I would like to present to you the use of Otter and POMMI. Sometimes, the problem for generating responses from students, especially kung focus group interview yan, especially kung individual in-depth interview through Zoom, no, is mahirap siyang i-transcribe. So, for qualitative data gathering tool, the use of POMMI for qualitative research is useful. It's just free, pero if you have your research na gustong i-transcribe ng more than 5 minutes, may bayad na po yun. Pero kung hindi mag-exceed ng 5 minutes, walang bayad. So what is good here is, POMMI is the fastest and easiest way to convert audio to text. Upload a file, transcribe it, and email your transcript in minutes. Okay? Now, for 25 minutes, okay, I tried this last night, no? I uploaded a video Nilagay ko doon, then I got the transcribed portion. Okay, so speech to text transcription in 5 minutes. And eventually, it's easier for you as a researcher to do thematic or coding analysis of the responses. That you may use whether what types of mixed methods research you are doing. It's conjoined, kung it's anong klase ng mixed method ang gagamitin mo. Mas madali mo na lang ipasok yung responses nila. Okay po? Then, of course, authors, similarly, no, you can also use this one as an online tool for you to generate qualitative information from the respondents. Okay, so sign up, mag-log in, then still manual taking notes. So it will generate notes for you during meetings, interviews. And other, of course, other resources na pwede nyo pang gamitin. Of course, do not forget that we have quality assurance tools that see to it, no? I am presenting to you tools wherein you can use this free of use, no? Na walang bayad para naman mas mataas yung quality ng research. Okay? So key text is kung wala pong turn it in yung university ninyo at walang access sa plug scan, then yung key text na lang ang gamitin ninyo para it will identify if the similarity of your thoughts. Okay, pero ang suggestion kasi the use of key text and this Quillbot here are the last resort for you to do research. Kung kaya mo naman na i-reword with your own, kung kaya mo naman na gawa ng paraan on how to fix the literature of your study. Suppose that you are writing now your discussion or your discussion portion of your research and you need to cite literature to back up your findings. Kung kaya mo namang hiramin or isulat in your own words, in your own thoughts, yung findings na yan, do it para hindi ka nagagamit ng mga ito. But of course, since my topic is digital tools, no, sinali ko na lang din. Okay? So Grammarly, plagiarism scan, meron din po tayo nan. And Quillbot, you can use Google Translation and of course, SpeedWrite. Okay? Okay. So that ends my presentation. Pero balik po tayo doon sa taas. Okay? Now, your realization now is doing innovations in digital research using mixed methods research is easier now compared 5 years back or 10 years back. Mas madali na lang pong mag-research ngayon, provided that we are guided with the spirit of ethics and proper protocol in data gathering. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I was able to attain, to capture really the topic given to me. So thank you very much, and that ends my presentation.
Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Gilbert Magulod Jr. on his discussion about innovations in digital research. Our session for this morning is allocated for 2 hours. We will cater to as many questions as possible depending on the availability of our time. We will select questions raised by our participants here in Zoom and also in YouTube. And to those who will be tapped to ask questions, I would like you to introduce yourself first, the institution where you are affiliated with, and your question. Okay, so there was a mention of Dr. Magulod about the draft on the NBC. I don't know if our members here who were able to read already the draft were able to critique already also the content. And again, looking at the new proposed guidelines on the reclassification of faculty positions in state universities and colleges, for instance, it is noticeable that the areas on research, involvement in professional organizations, and teaching effectiveness still hold high points in the evaluation criteria and weights for reclassification. And that confirms, I guess, the relevance and the importance of today's gathering, especially to our members of PISI 21 who decided to attend in today's gathering. So again, we actually have questions here already appearing in Zoom. again, we would like you also to those who would like to remain anonymous, you may use or you may go to slido.com and just use hashtag 030132. Okay? Now, most of the questions you have here, Doc, has something to do with the cost of subscription, especially on the many tools or apps that you provided to us. Like we have, for example, we have a site. I like the idea that personally I am new to some of the tools that you provided to us, especially with site, for instance. Doc, we have a question here from Sir Noel Binavides. May subscription fee po ba yung website? Doc, what do you think?
Okay po, wala pong subscription fee. Gawa lang po kayo ng account ninyo doon. Magagamit nyo na po yun. It's free po. Aside from those I presented kanina na may kailangan mo talaga like the Gilbert, meron din po siyang subscription yun eh. And other tools. Pero gamitin nyo yung site. Even yung connected papers, walang subscription po. Gawa lang po kayo ng Gmail account ninyo. That will eventually help you.
Okay. So again, the same question, I guess, from Sir Gestoni Del Castillo from Academia de San Martin. Hi, sir. Good morning. Are those sites and apps available for free? I guess, Doc, you were able to inform us a combination of both free and with subscription on the different tools that you provided to us. But as to the site, for instance, Google Scholar, those are for free. And we have like example with subscription, like you provided us about POMMI, for instance. I think it has a subscription fee, Doc. What do you think?
Yes, sir. It has subscription fee, but kung if will exceed for 5 minutes yung audio, yung recorded audio, may bayad siya. Pero pag you can try it for free. Pwede po.
Okay. And speaking about POMMI, Doc, no, we have speech to text transcription. Is POMMI also ideal, especially in transcribing interviews conducted in local language? Have you had a chance to look at the feature of POMMI, Doc?
Okay. Sir, for POMMI, preferably it's English yung kanyang subscription kasi English yung kanyang language. So, baka hopefully from the group may makagawa po ng online tool na kaya niyang i-subscribe ang mga local languages natin. That's all actually an applied research. So, yun po. But preferably, kung English po kasi siya. Pero, sige po, you can try, you can explore it by yourself. Baka pwede po. Kasi sa akin, when I use it, English po kasi yung transcription. Opo.
Okay, good. Actually, Doc, we already have a participant here who decided to try ahead the use of site. We have here Sir Alvin Fulgencio. Good day po. Nag-access na po ako sa site. Ngayon lang po. It is free po. You need to sign in lang po. Okay, so again, it's a confirmation that our participants are already applying some of the teachings we have here in our training conference. Okay, again, we are encouraging our participants to raise their questions or also to press the raise hand button. We would like to be as interactive as possible in the first part of our event. So again, we also have active participants there in YouTube. We are also encouraging you to raise questions, and we will be having Dr. Magulod to answer it. Okay. Do we have now questions appearing in slido.com? And so, Doc, I like the discussion basically because it's light, it's easy to absorb. And again, I was able to inform it a while ago. There are tools and apps that I'm actually new, especially in dealing with literature review. I know that most of our participants here will learn a lot, especially we have tools here that I am not aware yet, especially with site and with connectedpapers.com. I will truly share this to my classmates also in my graduate school or in my graduate studies. Okay, so we have it here, Sir Mark Richie Celsius Cuenco Wachon, one of the active members of PISA. Sir Mark, you are recognized.
Yes, sir. Good morning po again. Good morning. Thank you for PAISAI for organizing another very useful virtual conference training. Sir, Magulod, thank you po for the discussion. I have some questions.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it okay
Opo.
po? Number one po, sir. When doing qualitative researches, although your focus was mixed methods, but it's still touching on the qualitative side, digital platforms could make the experience or lived experiences different. No? So how can we ensure authenticity when it comes to our, let's say, data gathering, right? Because of course, in the digital world, we can take different identities. No? Sometimes, minsan, may mga changes of ano tayo, yung mga names, right? So the identity is so fluid, no? So how can we ensure authenticity in that respect? And then number two po, on surveys, sir, what do you recommend to ensure that the ones responding are the intended participants of the research? Yung po bang baka mamaya iba po pala yung nagre-respond on behalf of that person. So that's something that can affect survey data. Thank you po.
Thank you, sir. Ang ganda po ng ang question ninyo, no? Sige, start po na dito sa kwan. Certainly, there are limitations of doing qualitative research when we talk of the lived experiences. Kung phenomenological po talaga yung gusto nating i-explore, syempre po, may limitation talaga ang online technology natin dito. Since the phenomenology as an approach in research is you need to live with your experiences, eat with them, live with them, no? Katulad nung si the one who, yung anthropologist na nakapag-asawa po ng IP natin, Otley H. Bayer, that talagang to document the culture, to document the people there in the area, is he even married one of them. So if your question on the authenticity of qualitative researcher, depending on the lived experiences, kasi kung lived experiences talaga, you need to document it, you need to go with them, no, you need to observe them in a manner na unobtrusive yung kwan. So for us, the authenticity of qualitative research, kung ganun man yung pwede nating gagamitin diyan, since I discuss mixed methods research, on my part, in my discussion, it may or may not actually applicable for that specific research design na yung higher level ng qualitative research na phenomenological or lived experiences. But as to the perceptions of the students, as to their feelings and experiences naman na pwede nating makuha through through video conferencing, through Zoom conferencing, it may be applicable po. Okay, so but when you talk of this deeper level of qualitative research, it will gonna have really a limitation when you talk of online technology tools. The second question is on the what was the second question? What was the second question?
Thank you, sir, for the answer. No, that's really something that we can ponder on. So surveys po, sir, on surveys, what do you recommend po to ensure that the ones responding are the intended participants of the research? Baka po kasi mamaya may iba on behalf of the participant, sumasagot na lang. Ano? Hindi natin alam.
Yes, sir. Actually, that is really a concern for us when we do online research talaga. But when we talk of research po kasi, provided that we are given the actual population, kung random sampling man or sampling lang yung kukunin natin sa kanila, we are really provided with the information of those individuals who will participate with us. So just to ensure that kung talagang sila yung nag-answer doon sa responses na yan, is we can do validation. We can call them. If they have responded, then we can ideally po, baka just a suggestion on my part, baka pwede mo ulit siyang tawagan, then try to have a recall of his responses, just a way to validate kung talagang siya po yung sumagot doon. Kasi yan po ang concern natin ng online survey. We do not know Katulad mo din po yan sa pag-answer ng module ng mga bata. Hindi natin alam kung talagang sila ba yung gumawa, pero we can establish our safety nets and mechanisms so that we'll be able to protect this one. Yun po. Siguro, a proper validation, we may approach them, we can call them and try to, would you mind to think what was your answer in this portion, something like that, a way to validate. So additional work again for the researcher to ensure really the veracity of the information we get from our respondents. Sir Mark, thank you very much. Gaganda po ng question po nito.
Okay, so again, thank you, Sir Mark, Richie, Celsius, Cuento, Achon. We are also encouraging other participants here in Zoom to also press the raise hand button so that your question can easily be catered by Dr. Magulod. Okay, we also have questions appearing in YouTube, Dr. Magulod. We have here a question from Ma'am Elaine Grace Capalia. Good morning, Doc. Is it acceptable to gather quantitative data from 30 respondents and only select 6 respondents for qualitative data? I guess she's also still trying to integrate, especially the conduct of research with the use of virtual na setup. What do you think of that, Doc?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Because kung gagamit ka talaga ng mixed method research, it will not really mean that kukunti lang yung quantitative data mo doon, yung sample ng respondents mo. But ideally po kasi, when we talk of quantitative research, dapat more than 30 talaga yung respondents mo. Kaya nga siya tinawag natin na mixed method kasi kahit konti lang yung quantitative mo, basta they can also provide information on the qualitative aspect, that will eventually become a research. Mas maganda po. Okay, so yun po. Ginagamit po talaga natin ang mixed method kung talagang kukunti lang yung respondents natin. For example, research on the food sanitation practices of kakanin vendors. Of course, in a municipality, kukunti lang naman talaga yung nagkakanin vendors doon. So you get the data on their quantitative aspect as to their information profile of the respondents, on their rate of assessment, on their preparation practices. But kahit 10 lang sila nakakanin vendors, you still get data from them through quantitative as well as back it up with their qualitative responses. That will eventually build a data for a research. So yun po ang strength kasi ng mixed method natin. Kahit konti lang yung quantity mo, basta may quality siya, it will have a breadth and depth of the research po.
Okay, we have here now a question appearing in slido.com. What kind of research ang pinaka-effective during this pandemic? Quantitative or qualitative? Can I have your opinion, Doc?
Okay. For me, looking at the which is better kung quantity o quality po. Depende po yan kasi sa problem of inquiry ninyo eh. For example, if you would like to do a research on the experiences of those COVID patients, okay, pwede naman po na kahit 10 lang na COVID patients, back-upan mo ng kanilang qualitative responses, maganda po yon. Pero kung gusto mo namang the assessment of the deliveries, these deliveries of this isolation facility to the COVID patients we have, at your scope of study would cover Luzon area, then kailangan po mo siyang i-quantitative. Okay, yun po. Kung qualitative naman, kahit 4 lang na COVID or COVID patients ang kunin mo, basta makapture mo yung kanilang experiences and feelings, that can also okay po. So depende po yan sa problem of inquiry po. Yun po. Yun Sir Ebrian, yun po ang sagot ko.
Okay, thank you, Doc. I think you will have this question appearing in Slido as the last question. Doc, my friend introduced the app Zotero. It is a tool used to collect, organize, cite, and share research. Were the apps or sites presented better to use? What do you think of that, Doc?
The Zotero po kasi is talagang marami siyang mga options and icons. It's also good to use. But those I presented to you are somewhat yung mga medyo user-friendly siya. Yun po. Pwede po, wala
Okay.
pong wala pa, okay lang po gamitin ang Sotero. That's very good. Okay po.
Yes, Doc. We actually have like a question, for example, appearing also in YouTube about the transcription tool that is more ideal now to be used. I guess there are actually many tools that you've introduced to us. We will also allow them to explore, for them also to see if it is truly conducive or one tool is more conducive to that of another. And we have here, for example, the last one, how much does it cost in terms of publication of research? I guess we actually have a separate talk conducted last time. We were able also to deliver or provide questions that has something to do with this question. And we remember that it normally vary, especially from one journal publication, for instance, to another. And we have those, again, who are enjoying having their paper be published for free. And we have those who are also having their papers be published in a more expensive manner. Can we have now a concluding words from Dr. Gilbert Magulod?
Okay, thank you, Prof. Sir Abrian. Thank you very much. I hope that this is just a short encounter with us kasi I am also having my training on accreditation on AKUP po. So siningit ko lang ito. Thank you very much for the opportunity and time. I hope I was able to share something that could eventually help you craft your research. That later on po, no, when you develop your research that way, it will ensure really the scientific process of data gathering. So yung mga tools po na ginamit natin, ito po yung mga konti lang ito sa pinakamarami pang tools na available sa internet. You can maximize the use of these tools po, provided na they are free or what. So it's good for us to use these tools so that we can come up with quality research outputs. Sir Abrian, maraming salamat po sa mga participants. Maraming salamat sa organizers. Marami pong salamat.
Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Gilbert C. Magulod Jr., University Director for Technology and Knowledge Management of Cagayan State University, on his discussion, Innovations in Digital Research Methods. We'll proceed now with the giving of certificate. The Philippine Institute of 21st Century Educators Incorporated awards the Certificate of Recognition to Gilbert C. Magulod Jr., PhD, for imparting his invaluable time, resources, and expertise as resource speaker on the topic Innovations in Digital Research Methods during the conduct of National Virtual Training Conference on Digitalization of Education for 21st Century Researchers and Educators, accorded this 29th day of October 2021 via Zoom video conferencing, live streamed on POMMI YouTube channel and PICE I-21 Facebook page. Signed, Ricky A. Kibinko, MAT MLPT Virtual Conference Director, and Emijan P. Indonila Palmani, MEd LPT, National President of PICE I-21. Again, a virtual round of applause and congratulations to Dr. Gilbert Pascua Kabilangan Magulod Jr. for making the first part of our virtual training conference a successful one. Again, Doc, we are looking forward to seeing you again here in PICE I-21. God bless. Okay?
Thank you. Hoping we will have a topic later on citation na para yung mga nag-attend may publication na.
Yes, Doc. We are looking forward to hearing again that kind of topic. And hopefully, on the next gathering, we are looking forward, basically because in the last national conference on a face-to-face setup, we conducted it in Boracay, and we have a great number of participants. So hopefully on a face-to-face setup, we can also have Dr. Magulod with us. Okay, again, may I request everyone now to kindly open your camera for a quick photo op. And don't forget to have your evaluation by clicking the evaluation link forwarded to you. Okay?
Okay, everyone, kindly open your camera. Okay, we have two panels. From panel 1, smile. Panel 2, smile. Okay na. Thank you.
Okay, again, thank you. Stay safe, everyone. See you 3 p.m. this afternoon or 3 this afternoon. God bless and congratulations to all.